Hi, welcome back to the Rugged Guide, and as promised we're just going to give you a quick update on some of the vehicles being done here. We are looking today at the Heritage. So with galvanised bumpers on, we've got the TD5 Bumper X because we're just trying to have a few little modern touches, which is why you'll notice on here we've got TD5 hinges. Now they're nickel plated, and we've left them nickel plated because again the 2016 original Land Rover Heritage vehicle had sort of silver hinges on it, so this is the tidiest way of getting that done. Now, to make the job easier when the guys are going to be rebuilding the doors, they've chosen to fit new parts. So all these parts are still available, and these are all the channels and the corner trim channel pieces that go inside, and then you actually use this channeling here, and it's sort of felt lined, which is quite nice. So obviously that's all new. You cut that to size. The cheapest way of doing it, you can buy them pre-cut, but they're very expensive. So you can buy these in these 2 or 3 meter lengths, but you can buy those in lengths, cut them down to size, and it should be a much nicer job. So in a lot of restorations, it's the obvious stuff that gets done. It's the little details that do get forgotten, and you know, the little details do make a difference, and it's those little areas that will niggle at you when you've got the vehicle done that you didn't do when you had the opportunity. So it's always worth doing them properly. Now obviously the most important thing is to put new door rubbers on there, but you'll notice as well at the bottom here we've got a new door bottom rubber. And that's quite often not even there on a Defender. It does let a lot of water up into the vehicle, so it's good to have it on there, and it will just make the doors won't rattle around, and it's just a nicer finish. So we'll go over in detail some of the little areas once we've got all this door fixed and put together and rebuilt. We'll come back and have another look. So here we are a few hours later. It's actually about 24 hours later, in fact, because I couldn't quite make it back that day, and the guys have been busy. Here you go, look, this is the Heritage, and we've now got the canvas frame set on there with the channels on the roof, and it's all looking good. All the window furniture is in, the door latches are on, I'll show you there. So as I said before, it's a big job. What made it more difficult apparently was the actual runners here we've got. You know, we mentioned that if you buy a whole length of the felt channel runners for the glass, it's a lot cheaper, and they've actually got this sort of plastic rubberized tacky backing to them, and it was the hottest day of the year so far yesterday. It's about 30 degrees, 28 degrees, and they just melted, so that made it a lot harder than it should have been. So a little top tip, if you are going to be doing this yourself, make sure it's not roasting outside. It'll be a lot easier. But everything went in. They've all got to be adjusted just to make sure they shut properly and lock and everything, but you'll see there that it's all looking very tidy. Now it's probably worth just spending a bit of time showing you the detail on this hood. Now this is a heavy duty frame set. It's not a Land Rover part, it's an aftermarket part, and a long time ago we were using the original military spec hood sticks, and they're quite thin, they're galvanised, and you know they work, but they don't look great. This is a much nicer looking bit of kit. It's really substantial. I mean, it's not a rollover cage, but it will give you some security if you did actually have a mishap, more so than the little flimsy bars that you'd normally get. And also, I love the way that it's all black powder coated rather than galvanised. You know, it's a really nice, clean finish. So when everything's put together, it just looks that little bit nicer. It's come from a company called Purely Metal. They're based down in Suffolk, and they supply the whole frame kit and also the door channels. You'll need to order the frame rail, which is the windscreen rail, which is down here. That's actually a part that they don't supply. You can get that from Exmoor Trim, and just make sure you specify that it's black, because they do a black one and they do a silver one, I believe. You can just see here where they've masked off to the Raptor. We did obviously the interior of the vehicle in Raptor with the gloss finish. It's come out nicely, and then they've actually masked off, so you've got this lovely edge, and it's just come out really nicely, and obviously it's all in the detail, so that's quite a nice look. And then you've got these, this is the frame set, so it bolts straight on, and there's no need to drill holes. It literally just slides on the top. And you know, the guys at Purely Metal who make these frames, they've got a special jig, and it's taken them probably about 3 or 4 years to perfect the frame. But one thing that's really nice about these as well is because it's a much more substantial frame set, you can actually specify them to have a seatbelt bracket on here for the rear seats. So if you've got forward-facing rear seats rather than the inward-facing, which on this vehicle is perfectly legal, but if you're going for something a bit safer, a bit more secure, you can have the anchor point here to put the 3-point harness in the back, and obviously you've got the retainer for the seatbelt in the load bed area, all strengthened with a plate underneath. But that's a much stronger, safer way of having seats in the back. So it's just another option. So if you're thinking of a soft top, oh, it's not safe, you know, it's probably just as strong and just as heavy duty as a roof, if not more so. And then you've also got the anchor points in the back for forward-facing seats. So it's a good option. You can actually fit a fume curtain in here. Now, that's just a canvas sheet with a window in it that goes along the back here. And there's two aspects to that. Obviously, it keeps the rear space separate from the cab. So if you've got stuff that smells, hay, whatever, dogs, it's quite good for that. But also in the winter, with the fume curtain up there, you're only heating the cab, and so it's a lot more efficient way of staying warm. It's even more efficient than if you actually had a hardtop. You can get a lot warmer with a crappy Land Rover heater in a soft top in the winter with a fume curtain than you can with a hardtop. So another great thing to think about. Part of this build, obviously being a soft top, you know, people are going to be able to see inside the back in the summertime when the canvas is up. So we want it to be as clean and as sharp as possible. So what we've done is we've actually invested in some of these. Now these are speaker covers, which replace your original metal covers for the wiring on the rear lights. And again, it's black plastic. They've got an aperture in there, so if you want to fit a stereo, you can have speakers. They're really easy to mount. You can run the wires along the inside of this rail here on the back capping. So they've got to be trimmed and modified to fit this vehicle because they're designed for Puma, but they'll really finish off the interior nicely. Now it's going to have a rubber mat in the back, so you know, everything's either black, green or galvanized, nickel plated. So it's going to be clean and it's going to be really smart when it's finished. So can't wait to show you that. Just before I go, we mentioned we're going to be doing the giveaways. In the last vlog, I showed you the t-shirts we've got made up. Now, if you want to enter the competition to win those, all you have to do is send me a message with your size. That's it. If you're a subscriber, I'll be scrolling through. I'm going to be picking out probably 10 or 20 free t-shirt winners. So if you just need to message me with your size, and then I'll go through there and I'll contact you if you're a winner. So good luck and thanks for coming, and we'll see you again soon.